Hi, I'm Bob Vavra, Content Manager for CFE Media, and welcome to our introduction of this year's 2017 System Integrator of the Year Award winners. First of all, I'd like to introduce this year's winners. From Panacea Technologies, Abhijit Jog, Vice President of Projects. From Integrator Technologies, Sean Campion, President. And from Interstates Control Systems, Jack Wolber. Gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to our visit here to DMDII in Chicago, and first of all, congratulations on the award.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about a subject that's been a lot on the minds of a lot of people. The Industrial Internet of Things is an important strategy for manufacturing. It's getting a lot of attention. It's getting a lot of visibility. What are your customers starting to talk to you about IIoT, and how are you reaching out to them with information that you have? Abhijit, let's start with you.
Our customers have shown a lot of interest in IIoT, and they've frequently been asking us because they see the studies, the same studies you guys do, of number of IIoT devices increasing and the manufacturing benefits that they would get from it. So we have seen a lot of interest in it, but we are still in the preliminary design phases for a lot of those projects. And we are asking them to proceed with a little caution until all the IIoT security aspects and other aspects are worked out.
Sean, you seen the same thing?
Similar response. Majority of the discussions we have are very high level with the CIO of the companies to work through various security options and how we can penetrate firewalls to gain that information and also gather it and do the statistical analysis.
Yeah. Jack, what are you seeing at your end?
We're seeing that same thing, and then in addition to that, the market is just continuing to expand, and we're seeing a lot more around that. And so we've taken on some opportunity to do some R&D around the IIoT space, and as that market matures, hopefully we can help our customers with what makes sense for them to get involved in and what doesn't, and maybe what technology they can use to make it beneficial for them.
It seems like you all feel that security is going to be the linchpin around which IIoT adoption is going to happen. What do you see as the next step in this process once we get past talking about security, Jack?
Well, for Interstates, we actually have a group that deals with cybersecurity, and that is a big issue for us. And so as we continue to gather all this data and figure out where to store it, being able to keep that information secure within the organization that they have is going to be critical. So we think the infrastructure within the facilities is going to be critical for the cybersecurity piece of that.
Yeah, a lot of people, Sean, don't know that a lot of the technology that you need for IIoT are things you already have on the plant floor. It's a question of how you utilize them. How fast do you see it happening in manufacturing? How fast should it happen?
I believe it can happen very quickly. I think it comes down to the capital expenditures they want to do for the given year. In our case, being machine vision integrator, the image storage we require, or the data storage we require, is much more substantial than other data collection methodologies. So our investments are much higher, but I think for core data acquisition, for pure number crunching, it can happen within a year's time, be fully instrumented within a facility if they make that commitment.
And Abhijit, they talked about data storage and some of
Right.
those kinds of issues. The cloud has really been one of the game changers here around IIoT.
The cloud is the game changer, but the concerns are around the IIoT devices that people are putting out. And just last week, we had a hack of servers on the internet because the IoT devices essentially send ping requests to the DNS servers. In the manufacturing environment, we are in a different scenario altogether. It's not some website going down. We have people who depend on us for their infrastructure, for their electricity, and it's important for us to protect that infrastructure. We have a responsibility to do so.
And one of the issues involved with that is that there's some external threats, but there are also some internal threats to security that happen with IIoT, with so many smart devices, with so many tablets available, whether you provide them for your employees yourself or whether they bring them in from the outside. There's a lot of security risk there.
Yes, and are the devices themselves secure? I mean, we saw recently there was a group called the Equation Group that hacked the firmware of hard drives. Now, why is the firmware of hard drive hackable is a good question. But with all these manufacturers putting IoT devices out, I mean, even if one device in your network fails, it has a potential to bring down the whole network. And in the manufacturing industry, it could result in disastrous consequences.
Sure. Sean, one of your roles as an integrator is an advisor and as a mentor for a lot of these manufacturers who see this technology and want to utilize it, but aren't sure where to start. How do you see your role and what really is the role of integrators as a whole as we move down this road toward IIoT?
We work in a variety of different industries. So as we move through these different industries, we sort of adopt different practices from each one and try to generate our own best practices. You know, I think CSIA is doing a great job incorporating those, and I think we're trying to work through those early adoption phases with some companies and then progress into more of the standards as it become documented.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of people being first adopters in this who are seeing some success already, but we don't have that critical mass that's going to get the second wave of folks really through the front door. Jack, what do you see? How can you really help your end users get comfortable with the idea of this much data and this much change in their manufacturing operation, and then take it the step beyond that to implementation?
Well, I think that's where we can come in and help. Is I think there's lots of companies that are gathering lots of data, and then turning that into information is critical, and I think we can help with that on the data analytics side. But then the next step of that is how do they apply it to their business? And we reference that as business analytics. So how can we help them? We understand their industries at times, so how can we help them take that information, apply it to their business, and help them become more effective and more efficient in the operations that they have?
Yeah, and Abhijit, one of the things that we really see is this, democratization of data, getting the right data to the right person at the right amount of time without all the noise that often goes around data. That's been one of the real things that we've seen in IIoT that's really exciting, but at the same time it changes the way you run your manufacturing operation.
And it's challenging because those people who should get the data keep changing all the time, and it's very hard to give them just the right amount of information without overwhelming them with data.
It's very much changing the way we do manufacturing. It's giving a lot more power to the line workers. It's giving a lot more freedom to the line workers to see a problem and solve a problem immediately. And it's going to take a change in the people part of the operation as well as the technical part.
Good. I believe in the near future, if not already at some major manufacturers, statisticians are playing a much larger role in the manufacturing process, working with the industrial engineers very closely, making sure they're getting the right control points and data points back so they make very good assumptions. But I think the key part about that is, not assumptions, but hypotheses about the process, to make sure we close the loop between the two. Because some of the data can be overwhelming. I think we have to limit the data initially and build on as we go forward.
And Jack, one of the other areas we've talked about a lot is this IT-OT convergence, the idea that your IT department and your operations people are actually going to have to talk to one another and actually get along in a meaningful way. Can you talk a little bit about that process? Because that's another big change for manufacturers.
It is. We've seen a lot of progress in that over the course of the last even 2 years. Prior to that, oftentimes IT had no idea what was going on the plant floor and really didn't care. And I think cybersecurity and just the amount of data that's getting driven in the organization is driving some of that convergence between those two. And we're seeing a lot more cooperation today than ever with those two groups.
We're at the edge of 2017. There's a lot of excitement around manufacturing, but is there a lot of optimism? Let's go down the line and sort of get your crystal ball into 2017. Jack, let's start with you.
So I think there is a lot of optimism right now in that space. First of all, the economy in the United States especially isn't growing like it was in the mid-2000s, but it is growing, and so we're seeing opportunities with that. And we anticipate that that'll happen yet for the next year or two. But even when that backslides, manufacturers need to continue to get more efficient and more effective, and one of the ways they can do that is through the plant floor. And so that oftentimes provides opportunity for us as well to be able to help them and support them there as well.
Do you see that same optimism, Sean?
I agree. I think for 2 years, I think we have a 2-year window right now where I think you're going to see heavy capital investment in the manufacturing processes and quality control and other data collection points. I think also some local legislation that's going on throughout the United States will affect the ROI decisions as far as to automate or remain manual or semi-automated. I think it's going to push some manufacturers to that edge. And I think also reshoring going on right now with manufacturers is going to play a role in that.
Yeah. Abhijit, what do you?
Yeah, we see the same thing. Manufacturers are starting to realize that improved automation results in improved quality and a more efficient process. So in the beginning, a few years ago, we had people coming and saying, hey, we maybe don't want to automate that. Now we are seeing more and more manufacturers pushing us to automate things that they didn't want to do previously.
Yeah.
because they produce better quality results from them. So.
Yeah, we're seeing the same thing. We're very bullish about the idea that this is a good time to invest in manufacturing. It's a good time to invest in your equipment and your people. There's going to be training that's going to be necessary in
Right.
this. There's going to be equipment, capital equipment, as well as bringing in the software and the sensors necessary to turn IIoT from a really great idea into something that's really going to change manufacturing. Again, congratulations to all
Thank
of
you.
you and to all of your companies and continued success, and thank you for coming to join us today and to celebrate the 2017 System Integrator of the Year award winners.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.